Hey everybody, welcome to episode 30 of Answers to Questions. And in this special episode, we are actually sharing your answers to our questions. And it is your answers to our questions all about culture. We created a company culture survey this spring and got over 400 people to respond to the survey. And so we thought in this episode, we'd share the most interesting results. So the first thing that we thought was interesting was we asked folks, does your company have core values? And if so, do you know them? And so collectively, about a quarter of people said we don't have them, or if we do, I don't know what they are. About a third of people said, yes, we do have core values, but I don't know what they are. And over 40% of people have core values and they know what they are. And so I thought that was a really interesting opportunity as a manager, as a CEO, a leader of your company, even an employee, to find opportunities to reinforce and display those core values, right? So day one, of course, when you hire and are onboarded, do you talk about the core values? Do you know them? Writing a blog post about them. What are ways that you can reinvigorate, even putting them up on the wall in the office? So we've talked a lot about core values here at Lemonly and on this show, and I thought that was an interesting takeaway, an opportunity to find more ways to talk about yours. The next result that we found interesting is we asked folks, what's most important to you in your role? And we said, rank these following 7 things, knowing that they're all important, but what's most important? So here were the results. And what we found interesting is there was a very clear top 3 based on the over 400 responses we got. And so those top 3 were, 1, the type of work that you do and what you do when you come to work every day. 2, how are you compensated, your salary for that work. And then 3, the culture of your company and your organization. So those 3 were the clear favorites. And what I find interesting about that, a large percentage of our survey responders were millennials, but I would argue, regardless of generation, people care about what they do. They want to come to work and do work that's meaningful. They feel like they have a purpose. And once they're doing that meaningful work, then they want to be fairly compensated for it. And then, of course, do so in a place where they enjoy the surroundings, they enjoy the culture. So take a look at those results and see what you can take away. But know that people want to make sure they're doing meaningful work. The third takeaway we had is we asked folks, have you ever been consulted by a manager, by a boss, by leadership about your company culture or your employee benefits package? Do they ever ask you what you want? So here were the results. A quarter of people said no, they've never been approached. A quarter of folks said yes, they have. About 10% was unsure or didn't think they ever had, and nearly 40% said sometimes. Now, not a clear favorite here in these results, but an opportunity or a takeaway for you is ask your people what they want. I think we've talked about that on this show at Lemonly, but we found that even in just a span of a couple of years, having a younger company, both in terms of how old Lemonly is, but also the people who work here, their wants and their needs, their desires of what they get paid and compensated in the benefits package, they've evolved and they've changed. So what a 22, 23, 24-year-old wants is different than 28, 29, 30. Now, obviously, your challenge is when the companies get larger and you have people across all those spectrums, how do you balance? Now, the answer is you can't give everything to everyone, but people do want to be asked or at least consulted. So last thing we found really interesting that we wanted to share is the question we asked was, what's one policy or culture change that your company needs most? Now, this was a qualitative question, so we kind of studied all the results and started to find similar answers and put them into pairings. And so here's the top 8. 1, flexibility. 2, more communication and transparency. 3, support for working parents. 4, making employees feel valued. 5, improving the team attitude. 6, retreats and outside activities outside of work. 7, a willingness to change. And 8, consistency. So those are the results, but what we found most interesting, if you study that list and kind of take a look at it again, I would argue that maybe only 2 of those actually affect the bottom line of your business, actually cost money. Certainly retreats, outside activities, and certainly creating some sort of policy, whether it be maternity, paternity, a mom room, or some sort of support for working parents. There's some cost to the bottom line of that, but if you look at these results again, we found it fascinating. I mean, flexibility, communication and transparency, willingness to change. These are things that are just focusing on listening, communicating, building trust, being open to new ideas and feedback and questions. These are the things that people are asking for and wanting from their organization the most, These, I believe, are really easy to give and fundamental, human trust communication-based needs. So think about that and how you can affect your culture in a positive way, perhaps at no cost. So these are the 4 results we found most interesting, but if you still want to weigh in, you can take the company culture survey at this link right here. And then we're going to be publishing all of the results soon, so take a look for that and we'll make sure to share it on social media. So thanks for stopping by for episode 30. We'll see you next time.